There are a lot of agile myths and misconceptions out there, and that's not really surprising because on the surface, agile seems really, really simple. For example, the Scrum guide is only 14 pages long. Very easy to just skip through it and think that we've understood it. But as you're probably discovering as you go through these pathways, there's a lot more to it than just skipping across the surface. There's a lot more depth. What we're going to do is just go through some of those myths here, and maybe you will recognize some of them. In future videos, we'll be dealing with many of them in some detail, but just have a look and see if you can recognize any right now. And it's interesting if we look at that last one, Agile means doing things faster. A lot of people, when they come across Agile, they either are excited by it because they think the teams are going to work faster, do the same amount of work in a shorter period of time, or it's feared by the teams who think that that is what's going to be imposed on them. But Agile does not mean speed. If you look it up in the dictionary, Agile means nimbleness. And if you imagine trying to get through this crowd on this bridge, you could go very fast in one direction and you wouldn't get very far very, very quickly. You actually need to be nimble to move around and through the people to get to where you want to get to. So nimbleness would get you through this crowd faster than just moving your feet or moving your legs faster in the same direction as you were going before. So where does the speed actually come from? My experience is that an agile project, when it's done properly, when the teams are working together and everything is working as it should, when it's done properly, it will deliver faster than using a traditional approach, and often faster than was originally expected. But that will only happen if certain things are in place. What we need to see is more frequent planning and more frequent iterations of the product. We need to see staff and colleague engagement. We want ownership and accountability, so the team is owning the decision making, and we want to make sure that our brains are free to do all the problem solving that we need to. We'll be covering neuroscience in another session. We need to make sure that the leadership has given enough context and clarity over what it is that we're trying to achieve, and are also pragmatic about what the information that is coming to them and what is in front of them. The speed of the feedback loop is really, really important to move faster with Agile, and also the ability to adapt to change. Focusing on value and quality is extremely important, and we focus on that rather than focusing on scope or a list of tasks to do. Another way that we get speed is by increasing our collaboration, and in particular our verbal communication. And another thing that we want to consider is transparency, because that by increasing transparency and everyone can see what's going on, it's easier to make decisions and it's easier to make the right decisions. And of course, psychological safety, supremely important if we want our brains to be working in a really, really good way to solve the problems that we have in front of us. That's why we're doing this in this way. So we want to increase those things. There are others as well, but we also want to decrease some things. We want to decrease bureaucracy. We want to decrease the fixed mindset. Of the 5 personality traits that are summarized by Ocean, we want to reduce neuroticism as much as possible. We certainly want to reduce reporting documentation. And finally, we want to reduce command and control leadership. So by increasing some aspects of our work and decreasing other aspects of our work, that's how we get speed in working in an agile way. but remember, it means nimbleness above all things.